it's Alicia here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about why there has been so much going on in 2020 and why it's felt like a bit of a struggle for some. It's felt like kind of a hard year, and like the year is just passing us by and that we're not really living it, and there's just been so much going on with the coronavirus and all of the riots and all that kind of stuff. So in this video, that is what I wanted to talk about. So the first thing I'm going to mention, because it's going to make much more sense on a smaller scale and then you can think of it as a bigger scale and for the whole planet, is why do we even have diseases and illnesses, or why do bad things happen in the first place? And I filmed a whole separate video about what is like the main cause of most illnesses, which I'll link to, put a link to in the description. But really it has to do with suppression and resistance to what is. So normally most illnesses and diseases get to the point where there's something that really is like an urgent thing that needs to be taken care of. It's a very painful experience that you can't avoid anymore. It gets to that point because you actually miss the subtler signs that your body was trying to tell you beforehand. And they could have been so subtle that you didn't even realize they were there, or you just thought that they were normal and that was the way to live your life. Like you could have just felt like sadness or a longing for more, you know, if you were in a job, for example, that you didn't really like and it was really starting to make you feel sluggish or sad or resentful or whatever those things were, that was your body's first subtle sign of trying to tell you that you're out of alignment here. And if you try to, or if you ignore that altogether or try to turn that dial down, like think of it as a frequency. If you try to turn it down, if you try to turn it off, if you try to avoid it, it's just going to have to keep coming up louder to get your attention, to tell you you are out of alignment. Your body is unhappy. Your body wants or needs something, and it knows that more is available for it, for you. So it will keep trying to turn that dial up louder and louder until you actually listen to it. So that's kind of similar to what is happening on the planet right now. So there has been an exponential increase in the Schumann frequency. That's the frequency of the planet. The reason it's called that is because there was a Russian scientist who, that's what his name was, who discovered like how to measure the frequency of the planet using satellites that are around the Earth. So there's been an exponential increase in the Schumann frequency of the planet. So that's like an increase in consciousness, or an increase in the harmonic of the planet, however you want to look at it. So if there is an increase in the frequency, then that's going to affect everyone that's on the planet, and it's going to try to increase the frequency in all of us. And the only way to get to a higher frequency is actually to dissolve lower frequency energies. So that could be fear, suppression, judgment, avoidance, anything like that, any lower density energies. They are coming to the surface right now to be dissolved and released so that they don't come with us as the planet moves into a higher harmonic and as the frequency or the state of consciousness of the planet increases. And in 2020, there has been an opening of the heart chakra. So that really means that now is the time to be keeping your heart open and be willing to feel all things instead of closing it, living in suppression and disconnection and avoidance. It's going to be a really painful time for you if you're still continuing to live that way. And so the reason, in my opinion, why all these things have been happening, these really dramatic things like the coronavirus and all of these riots and that sort of thing, is to dissolve these lower frequency energies. So the coronavirus, like it kind of had to get to that point where we were forced to go within, to spend more time with ourselves and stop trying to distract and avoid from our emotions and the things that make us so unhappy. So to force us to stay like inside our homes, to not use things as a distraction and constantly be on the go, and to kind of force ourselves to go within, it kind of had to get to this point because so many people were living in complete suppression and avoidance of their emotions before that they were just not willing to feel them. And how else were these emotions going to be dissolved if they aren't felt? Like, that's really the only way to dissolve an emotion, is to embrace it, and then the energy, and to breathe through it, and the energy just moves on its own. So it has to be felt. And in order to force us to go within and to feel these emotions, well, we had to be forced to slow down. And what more to force us to slow down than a virus that keeps us inside our homes and kind of stops us from actually doing the things that would normally distract us. So that's my opinion as to why the coronavirus has been happening. My opinion as for all of these riots is that lower density energies, like of racism and of judgment of others, and the anger and resentment and bitterness that so many people are holding on to because they have been discriminated against, all of those lower density emotions, they don't match the harmonic of the frequency of the planet, of where we're going, so they can't come with us, so they need to be dissolved. So all of these emotions are coming to the surface to be felt, and so I invite you to move through the emotions and the triggers that are coming up for you during this time that seems really difficult. And I am in no way like, I know this video might trigger a lot of people because it might seem like I'm making it a good thing that these things have been happening and that people have been dying, people have been getting hurt. Like, not at all am I making this like a good thing at all. I'm just explaining as to why I think it had to get to this point, because we were avoiding our emotions and living in such disconnection and shut down that something had to happen to get us to finally feel our emotions, because where the planet is going, to a higher frequency of love and joy and abundance and fluidity, these lower density energies, like, they just don't match and they need to be released. So if you're being triggered by, we'll start with the coronavirus, the fact that you can't go out as much or see your friends or do the things that you enjoy, move through those emotions. Like, what is that bringing up for you? Are you someone that constantly feels like they need to be doing something in order to be happy? Do you not enjoy your own company? Do you constantly feel like you need to be distracted? Like, what is going on for you in this? And breathe through and bring awareness to the triggers that it's bringing up in you. And if this video itself is triggering you, bring awareness to, why is this making me feel like angry, for example, and breathe through those emotions so they can dissolve and not come with us and where the planet is going. And the same thing with all the riots. Anyone who has been discriminated against and is still holding on to that, like, resentment and anger and hurt, it's time for that to be dissolved. So if you're someone who that has happened to and is being really triggered by everything that's going on in the planet right now, we all have our own way of moving through this, and moving through the triggers that it brings up for you is going to create the most for you and for the whole planet. And I filmed a whole separate video about how this actually works when you move through your own emotions, and how our bodies actually release emotions, and how that not only makes a shift for you, but for everyone around you and for the whole planet. So I'll put a link to that video in the description that explains a little bit more about how that actually works. When you move through your emotions, it literally changes the frequency of the whole planet. So we're all being invited into that right now. We're all being invited to go more within, to have our hearts open, and to be willing to feel all of our emotions and those deeper layers within ourselves, and dissolve these lower frequency energies so we can live in a planet of more joy and love and acceptance and abundance and fluidity, where there's no judgment of other people, there's less anger and all of these heavier emotions that we have all been holding on to. I really invite you to use this time, instead of thinking of 2020 as like, oh, this is the worst year ever, like, I just want this to be over. Well, I think it's happening for a reason, in my opinion, and the more you can be more at peace with it, embrace it for what it is, and spend this time to go within, the easier it will be for you, and you'll make a huge shift for you and for the whole planet. So I hope that video was helpful, and if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and hit the bell button if you want to be notified the next time I upload a video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.